Hey everyone, Nike here. Lately, there has been a lot of discussion in the community about the dungeon reward nerf. I don't really want to get into the economics of the situation, but I wanted to touch on a completely unintended consequence of the nerf: the loss of skills that new players would have acquired if they were doing dungeons regularly. I made a post on the official forums about it and a couple of tweets, but I wanted to go into some more detail here. My central thesis is that there are a certain set of skills that players acquire in dungeon speedruns that are not replicated in raids, even if the raid fights are significantly more challenging than dungeons, so let's get into it. The first set of skills that players learn in dungeons is pretty basic, and it's having quick reactions to boss attack animations. While of course we have to learn the tells for raid bosses, and that's very important, not many of their attacks have to actually be dodged. Most can be avoided by good positioning, and the ones that can't are rarely one-shots. In dungeons, significantly more of the boss attacks will one-shot you if you don't dodge them. Players used to acquire these skills by learning to solo bosses like Lupicus, where every attack has to be dodged. It required quick recognition, speedy reactions, and specific class knowledge in order to make use of all the tools at your disposal for survival. The second skill that players used to learn is how to move fast. A lot of time spent in dungeons is running from one encounter to the next. Trash runs were criticized by people who disliked dungeons as a waste of time and non-content. But in fact, they were incredibly useful for building class knowledge and twitch skills that you cannot pick up in raids or even in fractals. This is a bit narrow because I know that a lot of people have never participated in a proper speed run, let alone a record run attempt. In fast runs like these, your team is only as fast as the slowest person, and some classes are naturally faster than others. People who played Guardian, Mesmer, and Ellie had to learn to keep up with the warriors and thieves using every trick in the book. Weapon swapping for movement skills, utility skills, blink spot shortcuts, and so on. These are either class-specific specializations or require hyper-specific expertise on the dungeon itself. Lastly, for trash runs without stealth, you needed to use the same skills along with twitch skills to dodge key attacks in order to remain out of combat. The last skill I wanted to touch on is another micro skill and class-specific skill that players cannot obtain in raids: quick out-of-combat weapon swapping for blast finishers and other utility. This might seem trivially small, but is a huge display of quick reactions and class knowledge. While it's a bit anecdotal, bear with me, but if I'm in a dungeon run and we are about to blast a smoke field for stealth, if I notice the warrior in our group swaps his greatsword out for a longbow for the blast on the number 3 skill to contribute to the stealth, and then quickly goes back to greatsword for the movement skills, I know he is one, good at micromanaging his skills, he goes the last 10% to maximize his utility, and he knows how to make use of all the tools at the disposal that his class provides. This is an especially important skill for elementalists, who can pre-stack the entire party with 25 might and minutes of fury with blast finishers before a boss goes live. For years, anyone who considered themselves an Ellie main took the time to master quickly cycling through their different weapons and attunements in order to maximize their blasts, and it was a sign of someone dedicated to the class versus someone who simply copy-pasted a staff Ellie build from meta battle. It's sad to say that this is a lost art among the so-called Ellie mains who started hardcore PvE when raids were introduced. So a general summary is that players who were never into endgame PvE during the dungeon speedrun days and only started when raids were introduced lost out on a lot of key micro abilities, twitch skills, and class knowledge that can only be acquired in dungeons. It is a big loss for the community, since players who are new to endgame PvE for raids are missing this significant training and have a fundamental skill gap to overcome. I personally hope ArenaNet reverses their decision on the dungeon rewards nerf, and not because I'm selfish and want more gold, but simply because I want new players to have a chance to play at the same level as the old dungeon vets. Besides, the basic benefit of encouraging people to do other content when they're done raiding and after Fractal Dailies, it would give people who want to be hardcore PvEers and join elite guilds a chance to do that by giving them the playing field needed to take their game to the next level. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you next time. If you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to ask them and post below. Thank you guys, and see you next time.